Grab Life by the Goals is the podcast for passionate badasses to get inspired, activate their potential, and crush their goals. In a nutshell, we do big shit around here. Whether you're looking to disrupt your career, start or grow a business, or simply have a more kick-ass life, you're in the right place. Come to be inspired, find your swagger, dream bigger, and take actual steps to level up your life. All with a side of real talk and raunchy humor. I'm your host, Lauren Widrick. I'm a life and business coach, and I'm right here on the roller coaster with you. Are you ready? Let's do this. What is up, my badasses? Welcome back to this week's episode of the Grab Life by the Goals podcast. And today, my one and only goal is to get your dream off the shelf and into reality. We're going to help you overcome your fears and do the damn thing. Because I will tell you what, it freaking keeps me up at night that there is something that you want to do, have, or be, and feel like you can't do it or have it. Man, that literally chaps my ass because I see you. I see your potential. I see what you're capable of. And if you're anything like me and every single human being on earth, there are things that hold us back from taking action. So in today's episode, I'm going to break down let me count here. Oh my God, like 15 reasons people typically don't take action on their goals. And I'm speaking from experience because I have done all of these things. Then I'm going to give you my 3-step framework for how to go from analysis paralysis to doing the damn thing. And then I'm going to test this process on myself because like I always say, I am on this roller coaster with you. I am not perfect. I've achieved a lot of big goals, but every single one of those has been preceded by a period of me being a big fat weenie. So if you are in that moment of your life where you're like, damn, I really want to start a business, or I really am ready for a relationship and I want to put myself out there. I really want a promotion or a dream house or a vacation or whatever your goal may be. I am here to help you achieve it, and I'm doing it with you. So my goal of becoming a stand-up comedian, yes, I just spoke it into the universe, is the one that we're going to test the pipes on my own process with. Because guys, I'm going to walk the walk. I'm not going to advise you to do something that I've not either done or am actively doing right alongside with you. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and rattle off all the reasons that people don't attack their goals, myself included. And if you hear one that resonates with you, just raise your hand, touch your nose, smack your ass. Know that you're not alone in that because these came out of my own damn diary, you guys. Okay, number 1. The first reason people don't do the damn thing is that they don't know what they want. And what I mean by that is they think they don't know what they want. They're in analysis paralysis. Do I want to start a business or do I want to stay in corporate? Do I really want a relationship or do I want to stay single? Do I really want to run a marathon or do I want to do that later, right? They're like debating, analyzing, ruminating. But the truth is, you guys, you know what you want. Everybody knows what they want. But point number 2, and the next reason why people don't do the damn thing and go for their goal is they feel guilty or wrong for what it is that they want, right? Whether you want to start your own business, you're like, is that the right thing to do? If you want to go to a yoga retreat in another country, is that the right thing to do? Is that selfish, right? They feel like the thing they want, they shouldn't or couldn't have for societal reasons, or they feel it's selfish or whatever, right? That's how I feel. I'm going to get to this in the rest of the episode. It's kind of how I feel about stand-up comedy. Is that a noble enough thing to want, right? I've been doing life coaching, business coaching, transforming people's lives and careers for 6 years. Is making people LOL enough of a worthy pursuit to use my talents toward? So you know what you want. You want wealth. It's okay. You want love and sex and food and passion and presence and space and time and rest. Like, you want those things. It's okay to want them. And then the third reason that people don't do the damn thing and go after their goals is that they don't feel worthy of it, or they don't feel like they're good enough. So this is subconscious stuff. This is stuff that comes out in therapy, right? Like, if you want something and you aren't going for it, is it that you don't think you're good enough to have it, or that you don't deserve it? Which brings me to point number 4, which is subconscious fear of success. So at this point, I'm going to recommend a book that has changed my life, that of my clients, my coaches have recommended it, and it's called The Big Leap by Gay Hendrick. And if you've never read this book, immediately go download this shit. I'm going to put it in the show notes. But it talks about a phenomenon that he calls the upper limit problem. And it says that human beings have a capacity or a limit for how good we will allow ourselves to feel. So we essentially self-sabotage. So an example that comes up in the book, a book that references the book, I can't remember. Think about this. You're out in the backyard and you're watching your beautiful children play on the swing set and you're thinking to yourself, God, I'm so lucky. They're so beautiful. They're healthy. And then the thought pops in your head, what if one of them breaks a leg? Or what if one of them died? I know that sounds morbid, but if you're a mom or a dad or a fur mom or a fur dad, you've had that thought where you've been in the middle of a perfect moment and you're like, I don't know what I'd do without these kids. It's crazy, but it's a safety or a defense mechanism where we limit how good we will allow ourselves to feel. And it shows up in the form of self-sabotage. And that might be why you're not going for your goal, because you know how good it would feel to have that thing. And subconsciously, you don't believe you're worthy or deserving of that much goodness. Another reason you may not be going for your goal is that you've swung and missed before, you failed before. I see this a lot with my business coaching clients where they're coming to me ready to start their business, but they're gun shy because they tried to have a business before, or they had a little side hustle on Etsy or doing something else that did not really make them the money that they need to be their livelihood. And they're like, I tried this before, it didn't work, it was hard. Going through the failure was stressful and I don't want to do it again. And I'm here to tell you, everybody who's ever achieved anything sexy failed at it a few times, maybe 100 times, maybe 1,000 times before they had it. So I want you to know that because you tried and failed before does not preclude you from trying again. And when I go give you my personal example of stand-up comedy, you're going to laugh at how all the various ways I've failed at this before, and I still am going to pursue this goal. The next reason people don't do the damn thing is they're afraid of what other people will think. This is a little bit tied to feeling guilty for wanting the thing that you want, for being too frivolous or expensive or silly or selfish, right? But like, what will people think if you actually start dating a new person so soon after separation? I keep going back to this relationship one. I don't know why. It's like on my mind. But what would people think if you jumped into a relationship too soon? What would people think if you left banking and became a life coach? Or what would people think if you, I don't know, like quit work for a year and did yoga? Whatever it is that you really want to do, what would people think? That literally can be enough to hold you back. It has been enough to hold me back from several goals for years. And guess what? I'm fucking done with it. And I want you guys to be fucking done with it too. So let's talk about fantasies. Those dark, dirty little secrets in the back of your mind that nobody knows and you never talk about. I know what your fantasy is. It is slapping a resignation letter on your boss's desk because you started your own business and it's taking off. Does that thought turn you on just a little bit? If so, I want to talk to you about Slay Your Side Hustle, which is my signature 90-day program to go from business fantasy to cash flow, your first paying client. This program teaches you literally everything you need to start a professional business, from products to pricing to marketing to sales to operation to legal to client care. It's literally the entire playbook. And you get a squad, you get a ton of partners who are with you along the journey and balancing the same exhilarations and fears that you are on the business building journey. The next round of this program starts on April 4th, 2022, and you get 12 field-tested training modules, weekly group coaching calls, and a robust, mighty network to stay connected to your team in between the calls. It is a proven system that works. If this is turning you on, I want you to go to laurenwidrick.com/slayyoursidehustle for full program details and to register if you're ready. And if you need a little kick in the booty to make up your mind, let's have a quick no pressure discovery call. Go to laurenwidrick.com and hit the Let's Talk button at the top of the page, and we'll jump on a Zoom and see if this really is the right next power move for your life and your career. Again, laurenwidrick.com/slayyoursidehustle. And if you're a badass and ready to make your fantasy a reality, I want to see you on the inside. The next reason, I told you there was a long list, we're like halfway through, is that people are solving for problems that don't yet exist when it comes to their goal. So, for instance, they're worried that if they start a business, they're not going to have any time for their family with no evidence for that problem, right? Like, here's one. I am subconsciously afraid of getting a huge audience. I mean, I want that, right? I'm working toward a huge audience in my business, but I'm subconsciously afraid that haters are going to come out and I'm going to get canceled for something that I say that I didn't mean to say, right? So it's holding me back from aggressively growing my audience when, you guys, I'm solving for a problem I don't even have yet. I don't have haters coming at me, not really. I haven't been canceled yet. I haven't said anything. There's no evidence that those things will happen, yet I'm solving for them by not growing my audience. Do you guys see the kind of backwards logic in that? So there may be something that you want, like, I'm going to make up an example here, a trip to Italy, right? But you may be like, what if I get sick in Italy? Or what if we get stuck in Italy because our passports get lost? Like, you're solving for problems that haven't happened yet, so it's holding you back from booking the trip to Italy. Maybe not the best metaphor, because those things would not hold me back from booking a trip to Italy, but you get what I'm saying. You are afraid of outcomes that would come from doing your goal that haven't come yet. Okay, one more just came to me. I want to get in the best shape of my life. I want to clean up my diet and work out twice a day, but I'm afraid that's going to make me boring, right? I'm not going to be out there having those fettuccine Alfredos and those cocktails all the time. There's no evidence that that goal will make you boring, but it's holding you back. See what I mean? The next reason people don't attack their goal is that they're waiting for the air quote right time. They are waiting for work to settle down or the kids to get out of daycare or, I don't know, this personal circumstance to pass before they tackle their goal. And you guys, there is no right time. There is literally no right time. You've heard me talk about it on the podcast where I started a business and got pregnant 2 months later and was traveling to New York for work and coach training and building up my client base. Like, that was not the right time on paper to start a business, but I'm so fucking glad that I did. So if you're looking at your life and trying to wait for the right time, it is never going to happen. It's like having kids. It's like moving. You can't have a right time. You just have to make a decision and then incorporate it into your life and build your life around this very strong intention that you made for yourself. A lot of times people don't do the damn thing because they truly don't know what to do first. Starting a business is an obvious example. Do I make a website? Do I get an LLC? Do I get a bank account? Do I get an Instagram account? Where do I find clients? Like, what do I do first? And with almost any goal, that's figure outable by Google. This is not an actual goal of mine, but this week, I'm just going to share a funny example. I got a hair up my ass the other day and was like, you know what would be fun and sexy for me would be to do a fitness competition. Like, not bodybuilding, but like ones where you compete in like a figure competition. And again, not that I need a super hot body or anything, but I thought it would lock me into my goal, like seriously lock me into a goal of taking care of my health and cleaning up my diet and focusing on fitness. I don't think I'm going to do it. But the point is, to illustrate this, I don't know where you start. Do you register for a tournament? Do I hire a trainer? Do I go get blood work? Do I get a gym membership? Do I get one of those tiny sparkly bikinis? What the fuck do you do first? And turns out I Googled it for about 10 minutes. And again, I'm not going to go down this path, but the very first step was obvious: hire a trainer and then pick a competition to sign up for. Done. That was figured out in 5 minutes. So if you're not sure what to do first, it is so very figure outable by Google or a friend. That the goal that I'm going to share with you guys in a minute, I actually reached out to a friend who knows shit about this and she pointed me in the right direction. So don't let not knowing what to do first hold you back. Another reason that people don't do the damn thing is that they feel alone and unsupported. They feel like they're the only person on earth who wants to do that thing. Now, I've talked about this in multiple podcast episodes where it's okay to not be vanilla and to want fish food and want something outside the box. But you need to be around people who get it. If you're the only one in your family who wants to be a vegetarian, I'm making these up as I go. If you're the only one in your family who wants to be a vegetarian and they all want to eat meat and you're like, God damn it, this is hard. They don't get me. They don't believe in what I believe in. Then you got to find people who are doing the same journey that you are. Otherwise, it's going to feel really lonely and misunderstood. So this is why my programs like Slay Your Side Hustle are group programs. It's so that you can actually be in rooms full of people who are doing the same thing you are, because it's quite possible that nobody in your life, your spouse or family included, totally get what you're up to. And if you feel alone, you're going to hide from your goal and stay in your comfort zone. And that is not what I want for you and for your life. The last reason I'll list here, there's probably a million more. The last reason that people don't do the damn thing is that they're being a perfectionist. They feel like they have to be the GOAT right out the gate. If they want to be a speaker, they feel like they need a perfect speaker reel and 5 totally developed keynotes and a pitch deck prepared. If people want to start a business, they think they need a beautiful website, right? Or they think they want to become a health and fitness coach. They have to have a perfect body before I've literally heard this. People who want to become health coaches, but they're like, I better lose 20 pounds first so people don't think I'm out of shape as their health coach. And I'm like, what? You're amazing. You are absolutely amazing. You don't need to be perfect in order to get started. This is where I actually, in my business coaching practice, see a lot of businesses go to die. They think they need the perfect website and the perfect da-da-da-da-da in order to get their first client. And I'm like, oh my God, it's never going to be perfect. You're never going to get your first client. Let's get you a contract and a payment mechanism and a package, and let's get you out there and start testing and iterating. Because here's the thing, with all of these, if you're listening to this podcast and it resonates with you, it's because you're a high performer and a badass. You've probably come from a life in, let's say, corporate America, where you were rewarded for damn near perfection. God forbid you made a mistake at work and it showed up on your performance review, right? So that's why all of these, 12 or 15 reasons that I've listed here apply to smart, brilliant, high-performing people. So if you heard yourself in any one, two, or every item in this list, because I am every item in this list, it's not that you're a weak ass or it's not that you're a weenie. It's that you're a smart, analytical person who wants to get it right. And I'm telling you, when it comes to big, juicy goals, you've got to drop that shit. You've got to get out of your own head and into action. And so here forward, I'm going to be sharing with you my 3-step framework to actually get your dream off the shelf and do the damn thing. And these are the 3 elements of that framework. Number 1 is claim it. Number 2, crush your fears. And number 3, commit. Everything's about frameworks and alliteration in my world. I love it. So what I'm going to do is take each of those fears that I mentioned, and each of them goes into a bucket. You're either not claiming it, you're not crushing or addressing your fears, or you're not actually committed to your goal. And we need to go in this order for a reason. First, claim it. Make it your identity. 2, crush your fears. Desensitize yourself to the fact that if you try this thing, you're not going to die. And then number 3, make a firm ass commitment to what you want with a structure around it. So I'm going to walk you through the fears and use myself as a personal example, which makes my butt cheeks clench right up, because this is not a goal that I've crushed yet. This is a goal that I am doing the damn thing as we speak. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I'm doing that so that it can inspire you to do the same. So the goal of mine that I'm going to use as a personal example is my goal of becoming a stand-up comedian. Like I said, all of those fears that I listed came up just as I said that to you guys. It's wild, right? Like, you guys might see me as, grab life by the goals coach or confident badass, whatever, I like to call myself. But I am scared as fuck when it comes to this goal. Every one of those fears arises for me. And I'm going to show you exactly how, and then exactly how I'm busting through it with my personal goal. So number 1, the first cock blocker that I said for people doing the damn thing is they don't know what they want. Okay. I'm going through this right now. I know I want it. I feel called to the stage. And where I'm getting confused is, do I actually call myself a stand-up comedian, or am I a motivational speaker who's kind of funny? Do I have comedy sets and then motivational talks, or do I blend the two? Do I sell the comedy to companies and, events, or do I save that for like the stage? Do I even try and monetize the comedy side? You guys see how this goes, right? Here's the deal. I want all of that. And I'm saying it out loud to you, and I'm realizing it's taking me to point number 2. It makes me feel a little guilty or arrogant or something, right? It's making me feel like, who am I to believe that I can, want, and have all of those things, right? Who am I to think that I really can, like, tour the country and do comedy sets and maybe even, God forbid, get paid for it? Like, and to the point that I made earlier in the episode, is this work even important? There's another little guilt factor there too. Like, will this divert attention from helping people truly change their lives? Like, comedy is haha, LOL, enjoy yourself. But could that time be better spent on transforming people's lives? So as you can see, I am in, I don't know what I want, analysis paralysis, and feeling guilty about my desire. There's another reason I feel guilty, and it's going to sound like the opposite of the ones I just said. Comedy comes really easy to me. I was at breakfast with my friend on Sunday, and I was telling her the story about the time I hired a life coach for my vagina. I'm being serious. All my comedy jokes are about my vagina and penises as well. And she was laughing. She like fell out of her seat. And if you want a little more context, this will be delivered in a structured joke on stage someday, but I did hire a life coach for my hoo-ha. Right after I had my second kid, I went to a pelvic floor therapist to get it right, get it tight. And it was quite an experience doing naked from the waist down squats with her fingers inside of me to make sure that my pelvic floor was intact. Like seriously, life coach for the vag. This joke gets dirtier too, by the way. But anyway, I was telling her this and she fell out of her seat laughing. And we had a cookout like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days prior where I was telling the story of our hermaphrodite poodle named Bacon. And like hilarious about how we found out that they had all, cornucopia of genitals and how we got the x-ray of the dog's ass. And like, the story was super duper funny and people were falling out of their chairs again laughing. And I'm like, this ain't hard. Like, this isn't hard to me. Can I really do something and maybe get paid for it or at least recognition for it if it's easy? Doesn't this have to be hard work? Didn't getting promoted in corporate and make 6 figures, and making 6 figures in my business, isn't that hard work? And I'm like, God, I could stand on stage and bullshit about my dog's genitals all day long. Am I allowed to have that? Am I worthy of it? Am I deserving of it? So you guys might be hearing me. All of my friends have said to me, oh my God, yes, please go do this. But as you can hear, the fear is real and it's prevented me until very recently from literally doing the damn thing. So I want to give you guys a little exercise. You can take a note at this part. If you come from the technology world, you'll recognize this from the agile methodology. So I want you to say what you want. It goes like this. As a persona, I want thing so that outcome. As a I want so that. My techies will recognize this. So do it for yourself. As a comedian, I want a platform. This can be online or in real life. As a comedian, I want a platform to excite, educate, and entertain. That's what I want. So that I can activate a million goals. And when I put it that way, as a blank, as a mom, as a leader, right? I want this outcome. As a top female leader in my company, I want the VP of operations position so that I can change the trajectory of our company and everybody who works here, right? Affect change in the industry, whatever the outcome, it's your why, right? So do that exercise for yourself. And then here's the first C, claim it. Motherfucking claim it. I just told you guys on a podcast that I'm a stand-up comedian and I haven't even taken the first class yet. I'm getting to that in a minute. I've signed up for 6 weeks of stand-up comedy classes. They don't even start for 2 weeks. And I'm telling you on a podcast, I am a comedian publicly. I put it on my speaker sheet. I'm starting to grow the motivational speaking arm of my business. And I put right on the speaker sheet, stand-up comedian. I did put in training for now until I do my first set, but it's on paper. It's going on my Instagram. It's going on my brand new TikTok, which is going to be my comedy account. I'm even standing up right now as I record this podcast so that I can embody the stand-up comedian. I usually hunch over my desk when I do these things. No, I'm standing up. I'm embodying that performer energy because I'm claiming it. It's my identity. So whatever it is that you want, I am a leader at my company. I am available for a relationship. I am starting a business. Don't say I'm gonna start a business. Just fucking say it. I'm starting a business. I am going on a fitness journey. Let's say I did go down that path of the fitness competition. I'm doing a fitness competition. I'm not, by the way, guys. But you get my goal, or you get my point. Just say it to the universe. I cannot explain to you how much energy and power that has. If you are a woo-woo person like me, it is law of attraction shit. By saying I am, it makes it so. And if you're more of a practical, goal-setting person, then it's just an affirmation that reminds you that you are 100% that bitch who is doing that thing, and it will make you more likely to act toward that goal. The next C in my framework is crush your fears. And I got a lot of fears. So I'm going to share with you how I'm going to crush them. The first is a subconscious fear of success. Now, this is the thing I mentioned with the Gay Hendrick book, The Big Leap and the Upper Limit Problem. But you guys, with any big goal that you want and you feel called to do, you fucking know it's going to work. The second you do it, you know it's going to work. I have so many clients, a handful right now, in fact, that are the second I turn the faucet on, it's over. This business is happening. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So why aren't you turning the faucet on? And that's how I am with stand-up comedy. Again, at the risk of sounding arrogant or full of myself, I know that if I do this, it's going to work. And I don't know what work means yet. I don't know if it's going to be uber pleasurable and fun and the best hobby I ever had, or I'm going to be on Netflix, or I'm going to be up in companies doing motivational comedy for their teams. I don't know what work means yet, but I know it's going to work. And I think that's what's been holding me back is just like comfy in my comfort zone of I'm a coach. I help people start businesses. This is what I do. Can I really be a stand-up comedian, right? Like I'm scared it's going to work. So with your goal, whatever it may be, check yourself. You might be subconsciously afraid that it's actually going to work. Okay, let's talk about the fact that it maybe failed before. So relationships, this is an obvious one. If you've been in a relationship that didn't work out, you might be gun shy to enter your next one. You've started a business before that failed. You tried to get this promotion and they turned you down. I get it. With stand-up comedy, I haven't exactly tried this before, but I'll tell you what, I have fucking choked on stage. And when I say choke, I'm not like I kind of fumbled over my words and I physically choked. This was about 3 years ago. I will never forget it. I was at a big networking event, maybe about 100 people. And what the sponsor, the host of the event, unexpectedly shoved the mic in my hand and said, "This is Lauren. She is one of our key partners," which I didn't really know I was. I was kind of being told that in the moment. "This is Lauren. She's one of our key partners. Lauren, why don't you introduce yourself to the room?" And I had drank 2 beers, so I was not really having my wits about me necessarily. I didn't think I'd be on stage. Now, to be fair, I almost never drink at networking events anymore because I'm deathly afraid of this scenario. But he handed me the mic, and I almost remember what I said because back then, this must have been 3 or 4 years ago, I was doing mostly executive coaching for tech leaders. And so I put the mic in my hand and was like, "Hi, I'm Lauren, and technology is operative, inefficient, and leadership is no. And I am coach." And then I literally choked, like the phlegm in my throat stuck. And I tried to say more words and they got stuck. People probably thought I had food in my throat. And so I chugged like 3 sips of beer and I basically said like 3 more words and was like, "I help teams run with efficiency and I coach by." Like this whole thing probably only took about 30 seconds. I'm still horrified by it, like horrified. So I ran to the bathroom crying. 4 women came in after me, 4 women. And they were like, "Are you okay? That was fucked up. You should not have put the mic in your hand." And I was bawling and I was like, "No, I'm fucked up. I can't even talk. Like, this is my business." I couldn't even say, "Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm an executive coach. I help tech teams operate more efficiently. I love this shit. If you want your tech team to run like a well-oiled machine, call me," right? Like 4 years later, I can say that. But the choke, the literal choke. And I have to tell you guys, another little secret. I choke at the beginning of every single one of these podcast recordings. So I choked 2 to 3 times starting this podcast and had to start over and re-record. In fact, it's a, what do they call that? They'll Pavlovian response. My throat wants to choke right now just talking about it. In fact, I will cough so you can hear it. This shit is real. Don't edit that out. This happens. So what does that do for a stand-up comedian on stage who her throat closes up, she coughs a lot, words don't come out, she starts crying? Could that happen to me on stage? I'm terrified of this. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. I mean, I guess you can run off stage, but point being, I have failed at this before and it has held me back until now because I've reached that fuck it point where I'm like, I'm going to choke. I'm 1,000% going to choke on stage. In fact, stand-up comedy is all about failure. Like from what I've read and studied, you bomb 90% of the time. 90% of the jokes, 90% of the shows are shit bombs. And what you do is you watch the films and you adjust and go again. And that's what really turns me on about comedy is the agile process in it, right? Like you sprint, reflect, you get better every iteration. The precision, the structure, the planning, the preparation, the word choice. I'm like so turned on by all of this, but fuck, I've failed so many times at all those things before. So listen, all I can say to that is fuck it. Every badass who ever accomplished anything amazing failed at it a lot. And you are going to do it too. The next reason that I listed before that people don't do the damn thing is they're afraid of what other people think. And you guys, all my jokes are literally about sex and penises and vaginas. and hermaphrodite dogs and things of that nature, right? So I am a suburban mom. I am a parent. My daughters are on the cheerleading team. They go to a nice public school here in the area. If I go on stage talking about my vagina at length, how will that be received? Both by the cheer moms and the neighbor moms and, the school moms and my parents and my husband's parents and all the aunts and uncles. Like I could go on, right? Like, is me getting on stage talking about this stuff going to sully my reputation? I mean, what about companies that want to hire me, right? How can I go to a Fortune 500 company if they've seen the set about my vagina and the life coach that I hired for it, right? Like, it's literally just one joke. There's so many more jokes. There's another joke about how like married sex is weird and sometimes you have to do it in beds that aren't your own. And the time that we had to do it in my daughter's bed on top of the Olaf sheets. And I felt like I was having a threesome with Olaf, face down, ass up. Like there's a whole other joke about that, right? Is Bank of America going to hire me to speak to their people? No, right? So like, what will people think? That is one of my number one fears. And my only advice for you is make a decision about that. Either do the inner work and say, I don't give a fuck what people think, or do some messy action. So I did this the other night at cheerleading practice. I told one of the moms that I am close with, like, hey, I signed up for stand-up comedy class. And she was like, not family friendly, right? I was like, nope, every joke is about my vagina. And I said it super loud and like 8 other cheer moms heard me. And half of them looked at me like I had 8 heads. The other half laughed. The other half were like, so you can desensitize yourself. That's what I'm talking about. Another fear that needs to be crushed is all the problems you think will result from your goal that you have no proof are going to happen, right? You're solving for problems you don't have. When it comes to my stand-up comedy goal, I am afraid of the tour schedule. In order to be a successful comic, you have to fly around the country and have a grueling tour schedule and be constantly promoting yourself. I'm never going to see my kids. Oh my God, do you guys hear how insane that is to be worried about this at this stage? I've never even done a single set, but it has occurred to me that if I get good at this, because I have, that subconscious fear of success, this is going to work. I know it is. So when it works, how am I going to handle the travel schedule? Guys, you cannot let that hold you back because it hasn't even happened yet. I like to say to my business coaching clients, let's solve for that problem when it arises. If you have so many clubs around the country that want to book you, then you can either raise your prices and be more exclusive about where you go, or you can do online comedy, or you can say, I'll only do one a week. Like, fuck it. Like, you don't have that problem yet. We don't even have the data or information to solve for it. So just please don't let that hold you back from your goals. So the punchline of this section, pun intended, of crush your fears is simply take messy action, okay? You've got to desensitize yourself by making that joke to the cheer moms that all my jokes are about my vagina. They might have judged me, but I live to tell the tale, right? So there are things you can do. If you have a fitness goal, like just go to the gym a few times. Desensitize yourself to the fact that it has to be this big, perfect fitness routine. Like, no, man, go to Planet Fitness twice. Like, you've got to get started. If you're ready to get remarried, you don't have to get remarried right now. You just have to like swipe a few times or go out for a few coffee dates, right? If you're a public speaker and that terrifies you, okay, great. Go to a networking event and introduce yourself and hopefully it'll go better than mine did. But you get the point. You've got to start with messy action before you have perfectly constructed action. Okay, so far we've done claim it. So number 1 is claim your identity. I am a stand-up comedian. Messy action, put yourself out there. Say it to the cheer moms. I've put up a couple of funny posts on Instagram and they make my butt cheeks clench right up because I'm nervous, but I'm starting to put myself out there. I am taking that messy action so that we can go to point number 3, which is commit. All right. Step number 1 is claim your identity. Step number 2 is begin dabbling, take it from idea to real by doing some small shit. Number 3 is make a real ass commitment to your goal. So I'm going to share with you how I locked in my commitment to this goal of becoming a stand-up comedian. And I'll tie it back to how it addresses some common fears that hold you back from doing the damn thing. So I'll cut to the chase. I signed up for a 6-week stand-up comedy course. We meet once a week for 6 weeks. It starts in April. Hasn't started yet. But oh my God, this solves several of the problems that were holding me back. The first is I literally didn't know what to do first. How does somebody become a stand-up comedian? Do you go to open mic night? Do you make TikToks? What do you do? So I reached out to a former client and friend of mine named Lauren Ansley, who owns a comedy productions company. And she gave me some pointers, one of which was sign up for this comedy class. And she gave me a bunch of other amazing pointers too. Shout out to Lauren, you're amazing. But you hear that I literally didn't know what to do first. So I hit the Google and then I hit up a human being who might have the next breadcrumb for me. And she sure did. So if you don't know what to do next, Google or find somebody who is doing the thing. If I did not have the good fortune of having Lauren in my life, I would have Googled local stand-up comics and tried to ping one on Instagram and be like, hey, I want to do what you do. Can you point me in the right direction? Period. That's done. Okay. Now I am locked into this 6-week class. Money is on the line. It's on my calendar. It's going down, which solves the problem of waiting for the right time. There is no right time to take a stand-up comedy class, period. There's no time in my business where it's going to slow down. There's no time in my marketing calendar where I need to be talking about stand-up comedy. In fact, the first class is taking place during spring break, where our family is going to be out of town. That would have been reason enough for me to not take the class and get it again in June. No, fuck no. I'm going to call them and see if I can do pay them extra to make it up one-on-one or how I can make up that first class because my commitment is locked in. I signed up for this class. This also solves the problem of feeling alone. I don't really know that many other people in my life that want to be stand-up comedians, except I'm going to be in a room full of people who do. So we can struggle together. We can mess up together. We can go to open mic nights together and laugh at each other, but I won't feel alone in this journey. And guess what's happened? Kind of an unexpected benefit. As I've started to claim it and take messy action by socializing that I'm going to do stand-up comedy, I'd say 3 or 4 other people have come out of the woodwork and been like, I'm doing that too, or I want to do that too. And I'm like, come on, sister, come on, bro, let's do this together. You are not alone. So by locking in a real commitment with a coach, a training program, a class, something of this nature, your goal becomes unfuckable with. I am no longer just claiming I'm a comedian, which is step 1, or taking messy action, just trying to be funnier with friends and on the internet. Okay, great. That's step 2. Step 3, this shit is on. And I'll tell you what, I have never accomplished a major, serious, sexy goal in my life without this type of support of a community, of a coach, of a trainer, of a mentor. And my recommendation is if you're serious about this, lock in that commitment. Put some money on the line, put some time on the line, make it public, get people to support you because that's how your dreams come true. You go from ideation to claiming your identity to messy action to locking in your commitment to having the life that you've always wanted. Isn't it worth it when you think about it in those terms? Okay, guys, that's it. Let's wrap this episode in a bow. So to summarize, this is my 3-step process. Claim it, make it your identity, crush your fears, take messy action, and desensitize yourself. You will live to tell the tale if you try this thing. And commit. Find a structure, somebody that you can pay, a program you can sign in, a squad of people to lock in your commitment so that it actually becomes a reality. I'm curious. Send me a message on Instagram at Lauren Widrick. What is your big sexy goal and which of these 3 stages are you at? Because if you're like, none, I haven't even started, great. We're going to have you claim it. I'm going to message you back on Instagram and be like, let's claim you as VP of operations, or let's claim you as a fitness professional, or let's claim you as a brand new social media manager. Claim it. It's the first step. And if you're more dabbling, then let's get you committed. I certainly have coaching programs and workshops and things that you can join. Slay Your Side Hustle is an obvious one to cement your business idea. But we've got all kinds of other workshops coming up to help you address any sort of life goals. So message me on Instagram at Lauren Widrick. Let me know where you're at. And I'm going to leave you with these final words. I am in this with you. I just recorded a big, long, hairy podcast episode about a goal that I've barely started. So let's lock arms and let's do this together because you know what? Fear is a motherfucker. And I am not here to let fear hold us down from the life that we desire and we deserve, period. If you want it, the universe placed that desire in your heart for a reason and you deserve to have it. And so do I. So I think we should do this shit together. My greatest core fear is leaving life on the table, literally on my deathbed, knowing that I had some music, some dream inside of me that never came out. And I just cannot live with that possibility for myself or for you. So hit me up on Instagram. If you love this podcast, go ahead and put a 5-star review. Let me know what you loved about the podcast and let me know what kind of content you want to hear more of, because I am here for you to live your best life and to grab life by the goals, my friend. I will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening to the Grab Life by the Goals podcast. If you loved this episode, I would be thrilled if you subscribed wherever you listen to your podcast so that you can get notified when an episode drops and we can rendezvous like this every single week. If you're feeling frisky, maybe slap a 5-star review on this bitch and maybe even some comments about what inspired you from this podcast episode. This is simply so more people can find us and join our squad of badassery. I love me some Instagram, so come find me. My handle is @LaurenWidrick, and if you screenshot and share this episode with your peeps, I'll come shower you with all the virtual hugs and kisses. Until next time, grab life by the goals, my friend.